I'm gay. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account.
Gay people, handicaps, twins.
Nobody will ever want you because you're so pathetic.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to yet another video on my channel. Today we're gonna be discussing iDubbbz and how much of a massive dork he actually is. I mean, seriously, just look at this guy. And he's also a cuck. I mean, like, wow, wow, and you people left me for this guy? Pathetic.
Today's video will be about a somewhat petty topic to a lot of people, but I think it's worth discussing anyway because of just how much has been blown into the stratosphere by the YouTube community, and because there are some valuable lessons to be learned from this drama. In the past few years, an interesting trend has begun to emerge on this site, where once beloved creators have had their reputations turned completely upside down. And in a way, I've spent a lot of time on my channel covering these stories, sometimes agreeing with the premises of these downfalls, and at others having to discount them entirely. Ethan Klein of H3H3 Productions is probably the best example of this, as just a few years ago he was seen as one of the funniest people on the platform and had a place of moral authority that allowed him to preside over the rest of us with a certain atmosphere around him. There was a respect that he commanded through his videos, which now has completely eroded away. But to both casual users and those who are deeply involved in the YouTube community, he was seen as somewhat of a god. He was untouchable. In a lot of ways, people like I Hate Everything, Ethan Klein, and iDubbbz were seen as the police of YouTube just a few years ago, pointing out bad actors where they see them and cleaning up the community of undesirable garbage. Which brings us to the subject of today's video.
I have osteoporosis.
iDubbbz has easily been one of the most respected and popular people on YouTube, and he really needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give one anyway. He started making videos in 2012 with uploads that most people like to jokingly mock him for, but managed to garner a large audience through his Kickstarter crap series, during which he would criticize and make fun of various Kickstarter projects.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to more Kickstarter crap. Today the piece of crap that we're looking at is called Paintball Panda.
He managed to garner a pretty loyal audience through this, but he wouldn't really hit his stride until his now legendary series Content Cop debuted. At the time that these videos were released, most commentary videos were still very simple. Some gameplay, a few transparent PNGs slapped on top of the screen, a vaporwave intro, and a USB microphone was all it took to become a channel with hundreds of thousands, and in a few cases, millions of subscribers.
Hello, Blazer.
This made Ian's videos stand out like an island of hard work and creativity, in a sea of videos that were basically indistinguishable from one another. It didn't help that most of these creators made their videos about these same topics around the same exact time, something that would become a point of contention for creators that would come along in the next wave of commentary, one that both idolized iDubbbz and sought to deride those who had built the foundation for the community. I specifically remember watching these videos with my friends as they would come out, and spending time on Twitter and in Discord chats talking about these videos. We looked up to the way that he made his content and aspired to make something that was as entertaining, and we admired how much of an impact that he had on the YouTube landscape. There was a time when a content cop was the equivalent of an atomic bomb, with even people like Philip DeFranco and more mainstream figures liking his videos and spending time watching them.
As it turns out, it's another massive YouTuber by the name of iDubbbz. You might remember him, we've actually had him on the show before.
As Ian released these videos, his reputation became one of YouTube royalty, with most people looking up to him as some kind of god, someone who could do no wrong. His videos about Jinx, Keemstar, Leafy's Hair, Tana Mojo, and Jake Paul were some of the most universally revered posts on this website, with even their subjects caving to public pressure and saying that they enjoyed the videos about them.
Good.
I feel like you've like swallowed up this like self-guilt. At the end of the day, you were calling out a white dude for saying the N-word. That's pretty common, right?
But where did I have the room to call him out, you know?
Or they just made fools of themselves, allowing Ian to respond to them in a number of follow-ups and confirm that everything he had said about them was true.
Great job, dude. You won the argument that I never made.
For the past 5 years, he's been seen as one of the most important figures in the YouTube community, and someone who fans and creators alike had shared a respect for. Until now.
For those of you who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in.
On March 9th, 2020, Anissa Jamha, also known as iDubbbz's girlfriend, made a tweet announcing the launching of her OnlyFans, a website somewhat similar to Patreon, but with the more specific content area being lewd and nude photos. Not everyone was pleased. Memes soon flooded in about this, with thousands of tweets mocking her and her relationship with Ian, something that I myself definitely capitalized on. However, most of the responses to this announcement didn't seem to be genuine vitriol, simply playful mockery. There definitely were a few people who had a more angry intent with their tweets, tweets, but for the most part, as far as I could see, a lot of it was playful. More of a laugh and move on scenario for most than anything to be genuinely angry over. The tweets seemed to be dying down over the next few weeks. Ian made a tweet to poke fun at the situation, which I thought was a pretty funny response and most people seemed to be pleased with, because he took a more joking attitude towards the entire thing. On March 28th, all of that would change.
Oh my God!
Hold on!
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God!
Seemingly fed up with the criticism, and as he describes, anger being thrown his way, Idubbz uploaded a video to his channel to talk about the situation and address people who were upset with him. It did not have the most positive reception in the world. Over 200,000 dislikes, almost 200,000 comments, and an absolute explosion on Twitter that somehow eclipsed the virus on my timeline for about a full day. Within hours, videos about the topic started rolling in, with YouTubers like Diesel Patches, Critical, Scarce, Bowblacks, Memology 101, Kavos, The Quartering, PewDiePie, and hundreds of others posting their own takes on the situation and explaining how they felt. A large part of the community had turned on Ian, and they were not about to let this video slide. That being said, people like Critical and Fuckers more or less defended Ian, saying that they felt the drama was very petty and that fans are much too invested in the personal lives of those that they watch.
Community, that cell right there, I think is totally fine. They've made some bangers, for sure, that he even acknowledged. But you have this very large and, for some reason, socially acceptable group of superfan stalker stans. They're K-pop stans for Idubbz.
Ian is not the first person by any means to face criticism of this nature. Plenty of people have come under flack for being different in their videos than they are in real life, an argument that many have made in regards to this subject. But looking more into it, it's easy to see that this doesn't exactly apply. Really, this is just a case where fans are disappointed in who he is because they expected something different. They don't think that this big bad internet bully would also allow his girlfriend to have an OnlyFans account, probably because most people who are popular online that have a similar personality to Idubbz frequently mock promiscuous girls online, which is why so many commentary channels have made videos about him. I've seen creators time and time again have their personal lives dragged out in front of their fans in a less than glamorous fashion, and each time it's just as ugly and brutal as before, but for some reason, people can't seem to look away. There's a morbid fascination, even a catharsis that a lot of people get, especially on the younger side, from witnessing once beloved people become mocked for poor personal decisions, or just aspects of their life that most disagree with.
It's not about the money for some people. It's about sending a message.
I personally disagree with Idubbz's lifestyle. I find it rather embarrassing, and I would never be able to partake in a relationship of that nature. However, I ultimately do not care, which is exactly the response that I thought my Twitter followers would give me. Ian's basic argument is that sexuality is valueless and doesn't decrease when it is shown to a lot of people.
So on the cons, we have everyone can see what he sees for a few dollars.
What exactly do you think I'm seeing? Do you think she's shooting fireworks out of her pussy? Do you think she's screening The Matrix Reloaded down there? It's not a mystery, it's a pussy, dude. There's no special pussy. It doesn't become less valuable the more people see it.
Well, you see it does. When you commodify your sex life and treat it like a currency, you allow people to trade money for it, and other people can share in the same experience that you have, then it's less valuable. Part of a relationship, the relationships that I'm interested in anyway, is being with one person and committing to them, including in a sexual way. That exclusivity is what makes a relationship. Without keeping yourself from other people and devoting that aspect of yourself to this person, are you really even in a relationship? I'd say no. Perhaps you could see yourself as emotionally devoted to that person while you spend your time sleeping with other people and them, but that muddies the waters a lot, and I think it's hard to keep your emotions and those you are sexually interested in separate for a lot of people. There are people who I watch on YouTube who have open relationships, and I have to wonder if one partner feels like they're getting the short end of the stick in that deal. So I don't see why people shouldn't take issue with that kind of relationship that Ian has. Keep in mind he doesn't have an open relationship, he just allows his girlfriend to post naked pictures of herself online for money, which decreases the value of their sex life. However, I think that unsubscribing from him is a little drastic, and telling him to break up with his girlfriend is also kind of unwarranted. I think you should be able to put aside your reservations about his personal life if you still enjoy his content.
Furious. Holy shit. They are so goddamn mad.
This is leftist streamer Vaush, who did a segment during one of his streams talking about the situation and gave his basic take on it.
Anyone who is investing this level of fucking interest in the relationship of an online figure is the worst kind of simp. Seriously, you people are fucking pathetic.
I have to question his title, calling Ian's fans incels and weirdos, not because I have a moral aversion to insults, because I use them myself pretty readily, because there's more to the story than just people being upset about his girlfriend making an OnlyFans. They're upset because of the way that he responded. The problem with this situation for most people doesn't seem to be Ian's sexual habits alone. They can get over that. The issue really is that his response and acknowledgement of the situation was extremely out of character for him. He could have avoided talking about it in a serious way entirely, but instead he gave a very out of place response to the situation where he seemed to be singling out a small minority of his fans and made them out to be a much larger issue than they really are. Calling them incels and insisting that they are angry simply because of Ian's girlfriend feels wrong to me. They're upset because of the way that he responded, hence why he lost subscribers only after he made his response.
You are the most unfuckable, repulsive creature. Sad. You're a simp, bro. You're a simpleton. You're a simple mind. You're concerned about other people's relationships instead of improving your own physical appearance and your own ability to attract women.
I hurt myself today.
Women, okay? Your judgment of what...
See if I still feel.
You are a vile slime of a human that nobody will ever want you because you're so pathetic.
Maybe you should calm down.
No, I'm serious. I'm not calming down. It's the saddest shit I have ever fucking heard in my history on the internet today. It's sad. It's shit. Wow. It's so sad. It's so sad. Holy shit. Okay, then people say, so then people go.
Does Ethan want everyone to hate him? I mean, even Hila knows that the man is going a bit too far.
Hey, if your husband was raised in a jungle, aka he urinates all over the toilet seat, just fucking break up with him. Just if he can't clean up his urine that's on the toilet seat or whatever the case may be, just fucking drop him. Drop his ass off on the street. You don't give him a little fucking tutorial. This is how you adult.
You are a vile slime of a human that nobody will ever want you because you're so pathetic. Because you're so pathetic. Because you're so pathetic.
And now, a word from today's sponsor.
From our sponsor, Raycon.
Today's episode of the Pheasant Phil Show is brought to you by Raycon. Are you sick and tired of the globalists at Apple and Samsung selling you cringe products?
I've had some good burgers in my time.
Thing sucks! Well, look no further than the Raycon E25 earbuds. I've had my Raycons for about a month now, and I can actually say that they are great quality. I've never had a nice pair of wireless earbuds before, and these work great for, working out. That's the thing that I do often.
Your form's kind of bad, too, and you're wearing, like, basketball shoes or something.
They're perfect for blasting Slipknot in my bedroom at 3 a.m. The audio quality of these earbuds is just as good as all of the other premium earbud brands that are on the market currently, and they're being offered at half of the price of every other option on the market. The Chad Gamer Ray J created these earbuds explicitly for the purpose of being a good alternative, and he did an excellent job. #based. Their newest model, the E25, is their best yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice, noise-isolating fit. It also comes in fun, new colors. Click the link in the description below to get 15% off of your order now. Thanks so much to Raycon for sponsoring me today. Without companies like them, I would be making not much. Okay, now back to the video. Ian's YouTube brand was built off of mocking others.
I can hardly contain myself right now, because today is the day we get to bully Leafy.
The biggest issue that most people seem to take with his response is that most of the people talking about this situation were simply doing that, mocking him. A very small minority of people were legitimately upset, and talking about such a small majority of people as if it is a massive problem is kind of weird. I'll open up this segment with a tweet from Emplemon where he said this: Content Cop was a good video series that people delusionally elevated to an untouchable godlike status. Now they've realized that Idubbz is just as fallible as them. The hype bubble burst, and those same fans are pissed. Don't blame the mortal when you worship them as a god. I appreciate Emp for wording this better than I probably could have, because there's certainly something to be said here about the godly reputation that many have given Ian because of his Content Cop series. Everyone saw his arguments as completely airtight. He does a very good job of philosophically explaining why he feels the way that he does, and he does it in a very entertaining way.
If you just said, wow, you're a very uncomfortable person, and you're not very funny, what a pathetic joke. You would have just destroyed me. But you couldn't do that because you're the most predictable human being on the planet.
And I think that if Ian had just taken it all as a joke, then he may have come away from the situation unscathed. But he didn't do that. He made a video responding to an extremely small minority of people that existed within what was already mostly a bunch of people making jokes. And that's my biggest issue with his video. It didn't need to exist.
I have crippling depression.
I don't think everything he said in it was incorrect. In fact, he made some decent points. But he could have gone on making content as usual, and within a week, everyone would have forgotten about it, apart from a few bottom feeders constantly making videos about it. But by making this video, he unintentionally, at least I think it was unintentional, made the entire community invested in the topic. It could have been ignored, but instead, it exploded. And I think that criticizing him for the actions of his girlfriend is also pretty sad. Notice how none of the people making videos about her title it Anissa Jamha Exposed. They title it IdubbbzT's girlfriend exposed. This is not only so that they can farm more views by using his name instead of hers, fair play by the way, but it's also to drag his reputation down with her. Insisting that he should be responsible for what she does and be forced to respond on her behalf is just retarded.
I certainly don't consider myself part of the porn community, but I do partake in a bit every now and again.
The idea that people are attacking Ian for his personal life that many have talked down to fans for isn't completely accurate because, well, this stopped being a part of his personal life when he and Anissa made their relationship public. You can't expect that your public actions on the internet won't be judged at some point, especially if people find it morally dubious. Does that mean that people should stop supporting his content? Should his response video have hundreds of thousands of dislikes? And moreover, is this intense, visceral reaction really warranted? Personally, I don't really care about what the political dispositions or the personal dealings of a content creator are. I'm willing to watch people regardless of their feelings outside of their content as long as I find their stuff enjoyable. I enjoyed Ian's content a lot when he was making Content Cop, but I'm willing to tune into his current videos when they interest me now and then.
You know, like, I'm not saying that women should be sexualized or shouldn't be. I'm just saying that there is the market for it, so it makes sense that they would do it.
Outside of a few memes about the situation, I find it pretty unreasonable that people would go out of their way to say that he has fallen from grace, when really, he's probably had this same philosophy the entire time about this topic. He's just never felt the need to voice it. But putting people down for having an opinion on his relationship and claiming that they are creepy is pretty unjustified. Ian has made it no secret that he is willing to have this kind of relationship, and treating this subject as if it is off limits is ridiculous. With H3H3 and now with iDubbbz, I often see people quoting one of the most memorable scenes from Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
What many people fail to realize is that this quote is rarely applicable to YouTube content creators. Most of the time, they were always guilty of everything that they're being accused of now. YouTube audiences are simply sheep that need to be told what to think and guided to a certain direction by those with influence and power. But eventually, the cracks in the foundation start to show, and so does the foundation itself.
The only time I ever get a little frustrated is when they call me out and they're fucking right. That's the only time where I'm like, oh damn, fuck it.
Ultimately, I doubt that this will have long-term consequences for Ian's channel, as long as he continues making entertaining videos that interest his core fan base. This situation relies upon whether or not you can separate the rest of Ian's videos from his relationship. I think that not watching someone's content just because their girlfriend is a thought is kind of pathetic. However, if he makes more videos about this topic and includes his opinions on the subject in his content from now on, I'll probably have to do the same as the rest of the gamers out there. I agree with Critical's take on the topic the most out of anything else that I've seen online, and I would recommend clicking the link to his video in the description if you want to see what he had to say.
But yeah, again, the main thing that I was passionate about this whole situation is just the celebrity worship and how people's lives have come to this screeching halt because they don't agree with the decision their favorite internet person made that didn't concern them personally.
But with all of this being said, there is some invaluable advice here that I have for all of you, whether you're a YouTuber or you have aspirations to be one someday. If YouTube is a business for you, then treat it like a business. When you own a business, you do not mess around with your employees and your customers. The same applies to YouTube. Just because e-girls are in your replies and in your comment section doesn't mean you have to acknowledge them. Don't sleep with other YouTubers, don't sleep with your fans, don't date your fellow YouTubers, or bang your fellow YouTuber's girlfriend. Unless, of course, you want to look like a moron to everyone around you and flaunt your personal life to millions of people who will inevitably judge you for every move that you make, in which case, go right ahead. Time and time again, I have seen creators dragged in front of the public eye and had their lives tangled into a complete mess because of their involvement with e-girls.
Absolutely no e-girls, okay? None. Zip.
Zilch. Nada. Beat them.
And in a lot of cases, I will defend these guys from unjust criticism. Many of them have been given a very, very unfair deal. People like Pro Jared, Slazo, James Charles, none of them deserve what happens to them, but it could have been avoided if they treated it like a fucking business. Unfortunately for most people, they have to learn this lesson the hard way. But the truth is, you cannot control the internet. You can't blame Keemstar for reporting the news that you yourself made public. The only thing you can control is what you do. If Ian and Anissa's relationship had never been made public, then none of this would have happened. Anissa would have her streaming and OnlyFans career, Idubbz would be able to make his videos, and no one would make videos about Idubbz's girlfriend because none of them would know. Their videos would not get any views if they didn't put Idubbz in the title of the video, even though the videos have almost nothing to do with him.
Don't leak my nudes, you sick freaks. Also, my Snapchat's linked below if you want to hit me up.
If you take away anything from this video, it should be this.
Hey, my name is Turkey Tom, and I say no to e-girls. What the Jimin? About the ding ding don't want anything. I don't want
Don't shit where you eat, or sooner or later, you're gonna be eating your own shit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos if you enjoyed this one, including my last video about Stephanie Sue, which I think was pretty good and I put a lot of effort into. And of course, follow best friend ZapTie on Twitter. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
What you say is love is pain.